As night fell, an overwhelming sense of despair engulfed the poor puppy who had been trapped in tar for several agonizing days. His pitiful whines and cries for help echoed through the desolation, seemingly unheard by the world. It appeared that no one would come to his rescue, and hope was dwindling rapidly. However, in the face of this dire situation, an unexpected turn of events was about to unfold. The modern world we inhabit is often characterized by its relentless pace and a certain detachment from the smaller, more meaningful details of life. Amidst the whirlwind of daily tasks and obligations, many fail to notice the individuals in need of help, be it the homeless on the streets or the hungry, shelterless stray dogs. While some might argue that humans can better fend for themselves, the same cannot be said for defenseless animals left to starve, suffer, or endure cruelty in the unforgiving streets. Nevertheless, people continue to navigate their hectic lives, often inadvertently turning a blind eye to the suffering around them. Yet, there are stories that serve as reminders, rekindling our faith in humanity and illuminating the fact that hope still prevails. This is the story of a hapless puppy caught in an unimaginable predicament. In the year 2019, a small puppy found itself ensnared in a treacherous pool of sticky tar within a secluded area, utterly unable to extricate itself. The helpless pup lay on its side, half submerged in the unforgiving, viscous black substance. Cries for help filled the air, but they seemed futile, for the puppy was isolated in a remote location, surrounded only by trees and desolate roads. For days on end, the puppy's plaintive cries resonated ceaselessly, both day and night, in the forlorn hope of attracting aid. Yet, it appeared that no one would hear or stumble upon this desolate place, nestled far from the well-traveled route. The few individuals who occasionally traversed this road sped by, too preoccupied or oblivious to recognize the dire circumstances unfolding just a few feet from their path. Under the scorching sun, the puppy's shallow breaths grew increasingly labored, and it seemed as though no one would come to its rescue. However, against all odds, an unexpected glimmer of hope materialized in the form of two compassionate souls, a young girl named Alice and her teenage brother, Liam. One day, while the siblings embarked on a leisurely walk, they ventured closer to the area where the puppy lay trapped in the ditch. Initially unaware of the dire situation, Alice and Liam frolicked amidst the trees, their youthful energy propelling them forward. It was a faint, plaintive whine that abruptly halted Alice in her tracks, prompting her to question her brother. "Liam, did you hear that?" Liam had indeed heard it, too. The faint and barely audible whine tugged at their hearts, and they intuitively understood that something was amiss. Determined, they stood frozen for a moment, straining their ears for any signs of distress, and the sound soon resurfaced, faint but undeniably present. The siblings' curiosity piqued, and they embarked on an investigative mission to locate the source of the sound, convinced that it emanated from a wounded animal. Their parents were not far behind, yet the allure of this impromptu adventure was irresistible, drawn ever closer by the gradually intensifying barking. Alice and Liam ultimately encountered a heart-rending sight. There, ensnared in a pool of tar, lay the small, desperate dog. The siblings grasped the gravity of the situation. Extracting the puppy from this perilous predicament would be a near impossible task, and the dog's weakened state left it incapable of freeing itself. Immediate assistance was imperative, and the children rushed back to alert their parents, who were strolling nearby, engrossed in conversation. Frantically, they yelled to capture their parents' attention. When the parents finally responded, they were aghast at the heart-wrenching scene before them. The helpless dog, unable to move, could only bark in desperation. This family of four had fortuitously chosen to explore this secluded part of town during their walk that day, and now that they had discovered the trapped puppy, they were compelled to take action. With the puppy's dire situation evident, they needed to secure external help. John, Allison, Liam's father, promptly reached out to the town's Animal Rescue Foundation, a local organization known as Fluffy Animal Salvation. When the foundation officials arrived at the scene, their astonishment mirrored their disbelief. "I couldn't control my emotions the moment I arrived and saw that little dog lying in the tar," expressed Alina, an animal rescue worker. They surmised that the puppy had sought warmth within the tar, but had unwittingly fallen victim to its viscous grip. It was estimated that the dog had been trapped for at least 3 harrowing days, and from the looks of it, he would not have survived another day if the children had not discovered him. Fate intervened to ensure that these compassionate individuals arrived in the nick of time to rescue the hapless pup. As the dedicated rescuers worked tirelessly to make the puppy more comfortable and extract him from his sticky quagmire, it became evident that this mission would require additional assistance. Consequently, they called upon the fire department, whose specialized tools were essential for breaking through the tenacious tar. While awaiting the firefighters' arrival, the team persisted in their efforts to free the distressed dog. A spark of hope flickered in the puppy's tired eyes, but time was slipping away rapidly. When the firefighters finally reached the scene, the animal rescuers had managed to liberate the dog's snout from the suffocating tar. Now, he could breathe more easily and bark louder, signaling his plea for help. Remarkably, the dog exhibited no signs of aggression or hostility. Instead, he seemed to sense that these humans were there to aid him. In their determination to free the pup, the rescuers resorted to trimming away the portions of the dog's fur that were ensnared in the tar. With the application of oil, they successfully counteracted the tar's stickiness. It was a heartwarming display of selflessness as these seemingly busy individuals halted their daily routines to come to the aid of one vulnerable canine. This seemingly small act of kindness would surely leave an indelible mark on the dog's memory. The rescuers and firefighters toiled diligently, expending considerable effort to remove every trace of tar from the dog's body. Finally, they managed to transport him swiftly to a veterinary clinic, where he would undergo a thorough examination and receive treatment for extreme hunger, dehydration, and exhaustion. Barking incessantly while trapped had taken a toll on the poor pup. During the comprehensive examination, the vet removed well over 100 ticks from the dog's emaciated body, revealing wounds and sores that bore testament to his harrowing ordeal. The compassionate vet tended to his wounds and gave him multiple baths to cleanse away the lingering traces of tar that clung to his fur and paws. Subsequently, with the provision of nourishment and a cozy bed, the dog began to regain his strength and witness his wounds healing. The caregivers at the shelter bestowed upon the resilient canine the name Lucky, a moniker that resonated with his remarkable survival against the odds. Lucky steadily improved and soon became one of the shelter's most cherished inhabitants. Under their nurturing care, he underwent socialization and formed bonds with fellow shelter animals. The transformation in Lucky's demeanor was nothing short of astounding. Alice, Liam, and their parents continued to visit Lucky on weekends, showering him with treats, toys, and love. They played with him, teaching him new tricks, and Lucky reciprocated with an unmistakable sense of gratitude. Though they couldn't adopt Lucky themselves, they made it their mission to share his story with friends and acquaintances, ensuring that his touching tale would not fade into obscurity. Many were moved by the extraordinary twist of fate that had brought hope to Lucky's life that day. While Lucky still bore the physical marks of his past struggles, he now knew a life of comfort and companionship that contrasted starkly with his lonely, homeless days on the streets. The shelter offered him for adoption, and several months after the incident, a little boy named Adam and his parents walked into the shelter in search of a pet. The moment Lucky and Adam locked eyes, an instantaneous connection was forged. Lucky yapped joyfully, bounding around and twirling in his enclosure, while Adam beamed with happiness. As handlers brought Lucky out, the bond between them was unmistakable. The dog affectionately licked Adam's face and circled his legs, eagerly awaiting a petting session. Adam's parents recognized that they had found the perfect addition to their family, and they chose Lucky as their beloved dog. Now Lucky would spend his days with a loving family, relishing a life of shelter, nourishment, toys, treats, and boundless affection. From the bleak predicament of being ensnared in tar, barely clinging to life, to the warmth and love of a caring home, Lucky had embarked on an incredible journey. This heartwarming story underscores the extraordinary twists of fate and the profound impact of compassion in our daily lives. It serves as a poignant reminder that we, as humans, should remain observant and responsive to the suffering of those around us, for small acts of kindness can yield life-altering transformations.